Ladies and gentlemen, we've got another video here by our own conspiracy theorist Beerbiceps, and it's about the legendary Vimanas that used to exist in ancient India. So let's watch the video. I'll comment on it after we watch.
विमानस के बारे में आपने पढ़ा
जी?
यूएफओ शेप्ड विमानस भी होते थे, सर्कुलर विमानस भी होते थे।
अब नासा सच में उसका प्रोटोटाइप तैयार कर रहा है जिसमें फ्यूल में मर्क्यूरी यूज होता है। आप अगर विमाना पुराण के कुछ उसमें ना पूरा स्ट्रक्चर है, सिर्फ ऐसा नहीं कि थ्योरेटिकल नहीं बताया हुआ, सिर्फ उसको प्रैक्टिकली भी उन्होंने बताया हुआ कि भाई उसमें प्रोपेलर्स हैं, उसमें जेट बूस्टर्स हैं, कि ऐसा नहीं कि वो धीरे धीरे गर्म हो रहा था ये ऊपर जाए, तो रोक के पहले गर्म करके सडनली उसका प्रेशर निकाला था कि वो अर्थ को छोड़े। वी हैव बीन वेरी वेरी साइंटिफिक टू ऑल द अप्रोचेस।
Okay, so people throw the word scientific around like it's nothing. What makes something scientific? When it follows the scientific method. This idea of Vimanas is completely wrong. I made several videos even talking about a 1974 IIC paper which debunked the existence, the very science behind the Vimanas. So it's all very fraudulent, and there is no evidence for its mention in the Vedas, although that's what people like to claim. The Vaimanika Shastra only came out in the 19th or 20th century, but claims its origins are from the Vedic period. And there is a 1974, like I said, paper from IIC debunking that entire book. I will talk about it in more detail in a dedicated video on the main channel. But for now, I want to say that when they say that it's mentioned that mercury is being used as a fuel. Do you know what mercury being used as a fuel is? Mercury is not a fuel that can be oxidized. In other words, burned. You don't get engines that can thrust out of the Earth's gravitational field to go into the atmosphere without expelling gases outwards. In other words, burning and expelling that exhaust. That cannot be done using mercury. What mercury fueled engine that NASA uses, it's called an ion engine. What it does is it uses an electric field to thrust mercury ions in one direction, making the rocket move in the other direction, rocket or the spacecraft or whatever. And that cannot be done to launch something into space from Earth. That can only be used in outer space when you already don't have any resistance in your path. And another thing is that NASA these days doesn't use mercury in its ion thruster, ion engines. It uses, I believe, argon or xenon. I'm not sure, I have to look it up again, but it uses a noble gas and does not use mercury. When you make this claim, you have to also explain that, hey, mercury ion engines work on the principle of an electric field repelling mercury ions out of the engine. So how did anyone without this knowledge of electrostatics and how electric fields and charges and all interact, without any knowledge of that, they just mentioned that it's a mercury engine and boom, hey, these people were very scientific. No, you can't say that. That's a very unreasonable and irrational claim. Just think about it. Now, I'm not saying it's not true, but if it is true, bring evidence. There is no evidence for any of this. To think such an unreasonable claim is true without any evidence, that's all I'm saying. This is how you should think about conspiracy theories. I'll see you in the next one.